Geico presents Our Town, Season 2, a 30-minute podcast produced by Best Bart Communications, a small but fierce client-centered marketing company powered by decades of experience and well-established business networks. Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Now, here's your host, Andy Ockershausen.
This is Andy Ockershausen, and this is Our Town. I've known our next guest, I don't even call him a guest, our next friend, almost 40 years. It's a long time. He's a giant in his profession. He was the UCLA Lineman of the Year honoree, a Rose Bowl champion when he explained to me they beat Ohio State. That ain't easy. The AP named him an All-American. He played starting tight end for Coach Gibbs in the championship game of 1983 Super Bowl of the 82 champions. If you remember, Doc, that was a strike year. That was then and now is now. Doc, where does he not work? He's the Redskins pregame show for Fox 5. He's the analyst for ESPN Radio with Sonny, Larry, and Chris Cooley. He works at Comcast Sports Network. He hosts the Pro View on Masson. He owns the Pro View, which is also an excellent magazine. He co-hosts a daily talk show on ESPN Radio 980. I'm exhausted just thinking about it. What does he do in the off-season? He has his own business. And a motivational speaker and was chosen one of the region's top speakers. We'll get into that later. Where does our guest not work? Please welcome my dear friend, Rick Doc Walker.
Hey, boss.
You are the best. Incredible. I call you because when I listen to you, you are as good an analyst as I've ever heard of a game. And I've been listening to football since the Redskins were broadcast by Harry Wismer. You are so important to our town, Doc, and you've gotten around so much, and what you've contributed is your thoughts to young people make a big difference.
Well,
it does, Doc.
Most people here are afraid of barriers. When you're in Southern California, I mean, we go 100 miles to a party. Might be in San Diego, L.A. Well, here people from Virginia don't go to Maryland. Maryland don't go to Virginia. D.C. they can go to Virginia. So in most of my days, I'm in Fairfax, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, all in the same day.
That's our town, to get around in our town.
But if you're not from here,
good.
People here are landlocked. And they have these fences built, and they're so limited, in my opinion.
But the river causes a lot of that. It scares people across that river. I've seen it both ways, Doc.
Yeah, but still, I have a car. People go, well, I'm over in Prince George's County, and I go, okay, I have a car. I'll be okay. Prince William, I go to Woodbridge, Springfield.
Where do you not go? Whatever happened to your restaurant that I remember so vividly?
Oh, Scoreboard. Yeah,
I remember the Scoreboard very well.
We had a great time. Problem is, in that business, if you grow too fast, we had great idea, great concept.
Great food,
product,
incidentally.
Great food. But you should have, if you stay in one place, you got a shot. 2, you cut your resources in half. Most people aren't worth their weight in terms of work ethic. You know, the average person is lazy as hell. And so most people are out trying to get what they can take, not what they can earn. So you better be in the management business. Otherwise, everything you have will be gone. So I've learned a lot about civilians since I stopped playing ball.
You almost have to live there.
Well, yeah, the smart people do.
In the restaurant business.
Duke was always there. You got to be there by the cash register.
So true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then people think that they know what to do, and they don't. But, Doc, you're telling me the story of what happened. But anyway, I like to play. We did something out there one time with Ken Beatrice. I remember that.
Yeah, we did live shows.
That was big stuff.
I had Monday Night Football there. See, I figured that when the Skins played, the broadcast teams came out to interview the coaches. Well, they had to eat. So I always made sure that the networks, I made sure they had lunch in my spot. So they were comfortable, took care of the crews. So they did their live shots from our spot. Because that's just that's just a process of knowing where people are going to be, what they need, and being accommodating for them. So I understood the business. And so, Coach Madden loved our food. All the guys did, because we made sure they had it.
You took care of them, Doc. That's
Absolutely.
I also...
Well, I learned from one of my early mentors in 1989. This young gentleman was running WMAL at the time, and I'd never seen anybody embrace marketing the way he did. And he took advantage of metro stops. He understood that people meet in large volume at the metro spots every morning, and they needed hot coffee and donuts. And this guy was so smart, because he went where the business was, and he knew that everybody there had to understand that WMAL was going to keep them informed. And I thought that was genius. He was first class. He fed his people breakfast. Everything he did was first class. So I saw that and saw how he operated his business. They were number one, but he worked as if they weren't even in the top 10. He outworked everybody, and he had the best product. And that's when I saw it. And I go, boy, that guy, that Andy O, he's sharp. Yeah, he's sharp.
I was lucky enough to be married to the right woman.
You had just met her then, so don't give me that crap.
That's true.
Remember, I was there.
But, Doc, you're very complimentary. But we love our town, and we paid off, like you said.
Absolutely.
No matter what it was, we our morning guys
Well,
worked
Hardin and Weaver,
every way.
Trumbull and
Everywhere you
Core.
call them up, they'd show up.
Yeah,
Never
all
got a
those people.
fee. Never asked for a dime. They made all those appearances to promote their show.
Wow, Tim Brandt.
Oh,
My
Timmy.
guy, Timmy.
Timmy is such a great part of what we are and what we have been. Johnny Holiday.
Legend, man. Beatrice Holiday. Johnny Holiday's work ethic. For a guy that, on top of his game, up at 3:30, 4 a.m. every morning of his life. You know, and
never
what he
slept.
was doing. I
did
call him a
baseball at
vampire.
night.
Vampire.
Like,
He's a vampire. And then still, he's dominant with Nats baseball, Terrapins football, basketball, how he travels, how he does it at his level. His golf tournament now has become a staple in the Metroplex since he moved it back to the University of Maryland. So there's a lot of things that I saw. I was lucky to see everybody had strong work ethic. George Michael, he outworked everybody.
everybody, no question about it.
If you look at what happened at Channel 9 and Glenn Brenner, everybody talked about how funny he was. He also outworked everybody. So he was also comical,
And he had talent.
but he had skills and he outworked everybody. So when you
It
look
does.
at that, Frank Herzog, so you're looking at role models of people who were never slackers. And that's how competitive it was. So I looked at that and go, there was a really good lesson to be learned if you simply understand that you got to work at it. There's not a gift.
It doesn't happen.
No. You have to
hustle.
go work at it. Yeah, you really do.
And you're living proof of that, Doc, because you do work like a beaver, and it pays off for you and for the community, and our town loves you. And we're going to take a break. This is Andy Ockershausen. We'll be right back with Rick Doc Walker.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're listening to Our Town.
This is Andy Ockershausen. This is our town. We're talking to Rick Doc Walker. I just say Rick. Everybody knows Rick. There's certain things in this town you can say, and you may not believe this, but I believe it. There's certain words you can say, Rick. People do not think of anything but Rick Walker. I'm serious, Doc. I've been around a long time. I know that. You can say Sonny. You don't have to tell the last name. There's certain things, and you're one of those, and you're
Dexter.
special. One of the things that you have done to make such an impact on our town is your work with charities, which is not a sidebar, but that's part of your life. The charity work you do is part of your life.
Well, my mother was a nurse for 29 years, and she worked at Fairview State Hospital, where at the time, kids were referred to as mentally retarded.
Was it Southern California?
Yeah, her whole life was dedicated to that. So we grew up with kids that a lot of affluent people left behind. And so my mother, those people, they were their kids. So for Christmas, holidays, Thanksgivings, you're at the hospital and we're bringing gifts. So I was introduced to hydrocephalics, kids with enormous ears or very small ears, microcephalics, all of the deformities that can happen in life when you're young and you were exposed to it, and you're taught not to be afraid of it, but to embrace these people as human beings. And then you find out how neglected they are. It becomes a very passionate part. That's who she is. So she was a caretaker in my mind. And these people labored, and the parents would show up, birthdays and maybe Christmas. And some very famous people that I never discuss about it, because they have their own reasons. But it taught me that people were not disposable, and that you treat them like most people treat their pets, better than I saw humans treated. And I then developed this when someone asked me, like, I was asked many years ago to help out with the Alzheimer's Association. I never even knew what it was. I didn't know what it was. And so I got involved because I didn't know what it was, didn't know anybody had it. And I was asked to help in a golf tournament that I did for 12 straight years. Now, Alzheimer's is affecting people in their 40s.
Correct.
And I'm still with the program.
It's more than memory, too.
Oh, my God. So that, the National Kidney Foundation, I'm very fortunate. We're going into our 6th year with this tournament. So I'll do the tournaments that help causes. And then I get to mess around, have a few beers, hit a few bad balls, and help somebody's life.
Well, but being involved in the public like that is very important to the public. It's all important to you. You get something from all that. You give them a lot, but you get a lot.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it's all about.
Because the caretakers are the people that need help. Patients are taken care of for the most part, but the people who take care of the patients are forgotten.
They're neglected.
Nobody even thinks about them. So the people who do the bedpans, the baths, all the things, brushing the person's
All
teeth,
the work.
taking their hair. When you have an elderly person, still has pride, wants to be groomed, has self-esteem. Like my mother had double knee replacements, surgeries over the past 2 years. When you are a very independent person, and now you can't get up steps, you have to depend on people. That is a process that, as I age, you start looking at it going, wow.
Getting wiser
It's
as
heavy.
you get older.
Oh, my goodness. And so you want to help those causes, help the people, so that by the time you get to it, maybe it's automated.
That's a wonderful attitude, Doc.
Yeah.
But they still, again, I say, and I tell this to everybody we talk to, when you give back far more than you give. You get it back in many, many ways. This has helped you and opened your eyes to a world.
Yeah, the whole thing. Well,
charity work.
Again, my mom was an usher. She had a tough year last year, recovering from the surgeries, and now the arthritis is kicking in, but she's a fighter, and she's
Well, I remember the story, Rick Doc Walker, of inviting all the guys to dinner. Your mother was fixing dinner for the group.
She fed them all.
You had a football game the next day, but your guys ate and they loved
that week,
it.
yeah. Wednesday and Thursday. 2 days, she fed them all. And George and Michael, we filmed it. It was the guys still talk about it. They still talk about it.
Oh, I'm sure, Doc, because it's unusual.
Yeah. Then she came here the next year with Super Bowl 18, and I had the house out in McLean, and she cooked for the whole squad. Did it again, her mom's.
And you lost the game.
Yeah, we lost that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were second in the world. And so our country makes fun of the second place team, but they let the last place team get away with murder. I don't play that crap. Okay, we were NFC champions.
Absolutely.
We got our butts kicked in the biggest game in the world, but we were better.
You got out-coached, Doc.
31
not outplayed.
teams.
I was there. You got out-coached. Janice was at that
No,
game.
we got outplayed.
And
if we got
played
outcoached,
in Florida, Johnny.
we got outplayed.
Yeah.
Whatever
They had
else
some
happened.
players, too.
Oh, they were the best. Yeah, for that on that
Raiders.
day. Yeah,
Right.
on that day. Yeah, they were the best.
Right. Well, Doc, but we talked to somebody, back to the Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Chris Breuer, I believe now,
Yeah.
has got something to do. He's a fine man.
He's a great
we
guy.
work with him. You know, he used to work for Comcast. That's
Yes,
where I met.
I know.
But his family were very friends of mine, and his I don't know if it was his father's brother had some disease that he died of. So
Yeah.
Chris is committed to it. He's a good man.
He's a good guy. The Brain Ball, I've hosted the past couple of years. They call it the Brain Ball.
Is that right?
It's an unbelievable affair downtown. So I try to help out in that capacity, but at this point, there's only so much you can do. I like to do what I do well, but I can't do it for everything and everybody. So the National Kidney Foundation, they're just such a great group. The support group's phenomenal. I really enjoy that relationship. And then there's smaller ones, but anything you do is better than nothing.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take another break and come back and talk to Doc. And this is Andy Ockershausen. This is Our Town.
Maybe your kids are about to graduate from college or even get their graduate degree. Or you're looking forward to retirement, finally. Don't go another day without getting your legal house in order. This is attorney Mike Collins. Let me show you how to get a basic estate plan in place that will protect you and your loved ones in the years ahead with our trademarked Reservoir Trust. All I ask is 2 hours of your time. Check the mail for your special invitation and register now at MikeCollins.com. I'll even waive the tuition. That's MikeCollins.com.
Hi, Tony Sybil here to tell everybody about our newest restaurant over off New York Avenue. It's called Ivy City Smokehouse, 1356 Oakey Street Northeast, right next to the Heck Company warehouse. It is terrific, and we have the only seafood smoker in the District of Columbia. So when you go to your grocery stores or your delis, ask for Ivy City products. 202-529-3300 or ivycitysmokehouse.com.
You're listening to Our Town with Andy Ockershausen. Brought to you by Best Bark Communications.
This is Our Town. Andy Ockershausen, and we're talking to Rick Doc Walker. Somewhat about the football, Doc. At least I did not know that you were drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes, sir.
And then how do you end up with the Redskins? Money?
Well, no injuries. No, I broke my arm twice my first year. Then I had a ligament in the ankle, second. And then I had the first problem with my neck. It was a shoulder injury in the preseason. And me and Forrest Gregg was the coach. My first 5 years, I had 5 different head coaches. So I came to the realization that they didn't know what the hell they were doing at all, and I wasn't going to let my future be infected by some people that completely were clueless. And the guy, he wanted me to go into a preseason game, couldn't lift my arm up over my head, so I politely said some very strict things to him, and went and told Mike, look, I got to go get a second opinion. This is not going to work out. I'm not stupid. I might play in a Super Bowl hurt, but I'm not playing a preseason game hurt. It's a bad fit. And at the point, I never looked at the game is that I had to play to survive. Play because it was fun. I enjoyed it. But it was no fun being hurt. We lost. And I really never lost big before because I've won in high school. I won at every level. It was very difficult to be in a program that sucked and to not be able to play. Just a bad deal. So fortunately for me, I went out to the Chargers and Niner doctors, got a second opinion, and the guy said that I had like a 6-week injury. And on the second week, Bobby Beathard called me. He had scouted, and he said, "What is going on?" I explained to him. So it was their first week here, and they had an injury, and so I said, "Well, I don't really want to go." I wasn't interested in anything on the East Coast. I was trying to play in paradise.
Sure.
Any of the 14 of the West Coast. So, I knew Bobby pretty well. He's not a BSer. Beathard's a sharp guy. Came out, physical, went through everything, and then, he got signed on a Thursday. Really wasn't 100%, but I figured, let's go for it. That Sunday, we played the Giants. I had to play like a half because he had another injury. So that's when I fell in love with these guys, because I'm in the huddle with George Stark and these guys, and I don't even know the plays. Yeah, I've been
You
here
were
2 days.
offensive lineman too, right?
Yeah, I've been tight. I haven't played here 2 days. But I was trying to pick it up, and they were telling me. So we got through it, and we won the game. Mo
That's
kicked the field goal. And these guys are clapping and having a great spirit. I looked around. It looked like a MASH unit. The older guys. Cincinnati, we had 24, I think 25 young people. It was just young athletic people. Here it was a lot of old people that I couldn't understand it.
The Hog.
No, not then. This is over the hill gang.
Oh, I
1980.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Yeah,
you were
this
at the
is
end of the open.
Pardee.
You were really old.
I'm watching people going, how do these guys play? But not only did they play, they knew how to win. And they had a spirit, something that was overwhelming that I saw. Jack Pardee, good man, then he got fired. Then Joe Gibbs comes. So that's 5 years for me, 5 different head coaches. And then we
But
go.
you hit the jackpot at the end.
Well, we all start off 0-5. So at that point, you think it's a Titanic. And then it just, you saw a man who was really solid in his conviction, smartest offensive guy I've been around. He was a strategist. His number one attribute is that he can outthink the opponent. And his best trait is that he became humble enough to not fall in love with his plan, but adapt the plan based on his talent, which most of these young coaches can't do.
They just stick to the plan instead of sticking to the talent.
He changed to fit us,
Right.
not what he'd done in San Diego. He understood, just like Belichick, they ask you to do things you do best. They put you in a position to succeed, as opposed to challenging you and hoping it works. They've already figured out what works. And that's why Joe Gibbs became a genius, and that his staff, good communicators, that could talk to people. Dan Riley, most valuable person in the whole organization.
Strength coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Knew him quite well.
Him and Jim Spiros, our assistant. Bubba Tyre, Kilby
Medical
Kamau.
staff.
It's all the people surrounding you that you have relationships with. You talk to your coaches a few hours a day. You don't have relationships with them. You barely know them. But these other people
Yeah.
you come in contact with, they keep you on the field. So you develop that. And the guys we kept, because Joe kept people that were smart. You have to have smart players that love to play the game. Guys like Dexter there at 5 in the morning, talented but love the game. These people our players were fanatics over the process. They love the process. A lot of these kids now make a fortune. They don't even like the game.
They just want the money.
They just, I'm not mad at them. So
No,
do
I
we.
understand.
But we had to win to make money. These guys make money now just for playing. It's a big difference.
Just
Joe
to play, that
Theismann
certainly
said
does.
$70,000. That's what we were going after. We were winning to make money. That's the way the game should be. They've got this thing ass backwards. You should make $2 or $3 million per player for winning the Super Bowl.
Well, Doc, this leads me into asking you about your work off the field when you were a player, but now your work away from your profession, and that is as a speaker and a motivational inspiration for a lot of people. I know people hire you to talk motivation. and you've motivated people a lot, and I know it, and it's so important to our town. And I'd like you to talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think the word is kind of overused. You have to motivate yourself. My job is to make you aware of what you're capable of. I don't motivate anybody but myself. And so the idea is that once you get tired of wasting talent as a human being, that's the first test, that you're wasting talent or you're yet to live up to your capabilities. People want to make more. They want to be happier. They want to be fulfilled. But they're relying on someone else to put them in that position. My philosophy is that you got to learn how to push your own button. Because for me, if I teach you how to hit the reset button, then you can reestablish yourself. Because I'm not going to be there to hold your hand. People set up systems that they have to become dependent upon people. These egomaniacs who want people to bow down to them and worship them. I don't believe in that. People have power within themselves. They just need help getting there. And then when you help them get there, you move on. And they'll figure it out based on how important it is for them to succeed. It's like a single mom. I'll take a single mom over CEO most days of the week because of her resourcefulness. Whereas a lot of these clowns have unlimited budgets and they fail over and over and over because they have no common sense. They may be scholastically superior. They don't understand how to connect. Human beings require sincerity and the fact that you care about them. A lot of these businesses are run like they're military institutions, and they're not. Or these egomaniac people at the top think the power comes from their control. They're afraid of their own shadow. And so what they're giving you is a false sense that you don't even know who they are. So once you cut through all the crap and you just figure out what do people want to do that they haven't accomplished. For me, it was to see people succeed that have been told they can't. Because a lot of these losers who are in charge gain their power by restricting people. And it's sad. I see it all the time. The biggest problem in corporate America is a lack of communication. Because the insecurities of the people at the top. And rather than ask for help, they feel that's a weakness. It's a strength to ask for help. The strength is recognizing that you need it. That you need it. Why are specialists so important in our society? Because they've proven to be better than the norm. Because most people are just average. And they settle for mediocrity all the time. That's what our whole welfare system was based on, just cutting people in half. It was never designed to build people up. It was to keep them down. Because once I could get you to shorten your goals and accept something for nothing, you would never extend to be great. Because you thought you were getting over. I remember growing up, and my cousins, I overhear them saying they got $800 per child. They thought they would beat the system by having 3. Not recognizing that you got to educate those 3. You got to get them through. And the system, to me, I thought, was a racist attempt to debilitate people that don't have money and to keep them in a lower class, to be subservient for wages and slave labor. This whole process is by lazy people trying to take advantage of other people. And as soon as you give them the power to understand that they don't have to be that, then they become empowered. And that's what the cat and mouse game is to me. People like to keep people stupid. That's why education's the key.
Doc, and I'm sure this message must make powerful impact because they keep asking you back. I know that, and it's important, Doc. What you're saying is
most people are
enlightening
afraid.
People.
No, most people are afraid. They're afraid.
There's a lot to that.
Yeah, they're afraid. They clap, but they don't step up. And I know they're afraid. And that's the beautiful thing about it, because if people want to reach their potential, first of all, so few of them have ever hit the finish line. They don't know what it's like to be in first place. They've been in the middle of the pack so long, they don't even know what it feels like. Once they remember what a victory feels like, what it tastes like, then they become interested in doing it again. I want people to be greedy about enjoying success and about seeing themselves accomplish things they didn't think they could. That becomes empowering you, where deep down inside, most people don't want you to grow. And that's the lie.
They're afraid of it.
There you go. They're afraid of your growth.
Fear. But, Doc, I'm so happy for our town that you're here and able to speak from the heart, which you do.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference. You got a big heart. I mean, you do a lot of work, but you don't get paid all the time. You get paid back many times by the information and the thoughts you take from your conversations with your people.
Well, how you influence people is your reward. Because I ask my audience all the time, is there somebody out there that if I ask them who's the most important person outside of their immediate family in the development in their life, would anybody choose you? And I know for a fact I have hands that will go up. And so they don't have to be immediate family. You affect a stranger that pays attention to you. He may have overheard something. The key to it is that once you challenge yourself, then you start to understand what you're capable of. And that's why if with his weight management, there's no reason for a person to be overweight. They're cheating themselves. You got one heart. Why on earth would you do anything to hurt it? Yet it happens daily because of lack of discipline. And people are afraid to put themselves under the scope. See, nobody wants to be exposed. Yet they talk about social media. That's a bunch of crap. I'm all for that. Expose yourself. Challenge yourself. Then everything changes. Because sooner or later, look at everything now, Andy. Every camera, everywhere you go, you televised, you videoed.
Everywhere.
Everything's out there. And so now, that's a good thing, because now we get to see you in 3D. The question is, what are we looking for? And then what are you showing us?
Doc, what you're saying is just so profound that you can say it to people and they take it away with them. And I hope they do, because, we just love you, Doc Walker, and have at WMAL. And I'm so glad you're going to be back this fall doing your broadcast for the Redskin football. I'm not sure that number 9 is going to be there. He's saying he's not. But
he's always there in spirit.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, now you can't. Game doesn't happen without Sonny. And
but
you
being
remember,
back,
yeah, Mel, Sonny, and you that first 1989 playoff game that I got a chance to do, and I'm interviewing Sam and Sonny and Mal Campbell.
Mal.
Oh my God. Mal, all these guys.
You go back
the old school, man. That's because Bob Gagan introduced me to him, and also working with the sports guy with the Star, who is we did a pregame show here together.
Not Mo Siegel.
My man. The great Mo Siegel.
Oh, yes, he was.
That's my first broadcast partner here on the pregame show.
Was Janice your producer then?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. With my start and these people, it's impossible to fail.
Yeah, just being in that atmosphere was
impossible.
Good for you.
Seriously.
Well, you're such a legend, Doc. And I say that not be condescendingly. You are a legend. And, well, you know why? Because you made yourself a legend.
Well,
you
Holiday,
work.
until Holiday, he's my hero because, well, I know Charlie Brotman's pissed now because, I set my standards really high.
I hope so.
And Brotman, I mean, he's way out there.
Oh, he is.
And so when you got Brotman and Holiday, look at these people. They're still in the game. And I tell them I'm chasing them. And when they retire, I'm going to take over for them. And so that's been our running joke for 30 years.
You can
and
do
I
it.
hope we'll keep doing it 40 years from now.
Well, Charlie lost his gig as the president's announcer
Yeah.
and ended up working for Channel 4 getting paid. How
No
about that?
question about it. He's still on there. And
Hey, do you
another
believe
one,
that?
Jim Vance, a guy who has
We love
been
him.
there, open arms. The one guy was able to actually lean on the most for advice early on, whose door was always open. I had Arch Campbell and Jim Vance at my disposal.
Oh,
So I'm able to see. That's the difference. The difference is young people, they don't understand how you get the knowledge because they think they're smarter than people older than they are. My generation looked at people that lived longer than you as I think it's an obstacle course, and they survived it.
No.
These young idiots think because they're young, they don't realize what they don't know. And so I always credit the people. It's almost like the four guys on the mountain, the Mount Rushmore. There's a Mount Rushmore in every category.
Rapid City, South Dakota.
Yeah, and if you can surround yourself around the Mount Rushmores of
what
every
you have
particular
done.
category,
Right.
no matter what it is, I guarantee you'll end up in the winner's circle.
Doc, it's just so great to hear you say those things because the people sitting in that chair the last 2 weeks with Jim Vance and Arch Campbell. Because
serious?
Absolutely.
Oh,
they're our
man.
town. You're going to be in the same thing with them.
Oh, man.
But see, they're part of our town. They made it so great. And Jim Vance is so special to us because he's been around a long time, baby. And he still goes strong. Every day he sits in that
still
chair, looks like $1
dominant.
million, doesn't
It's
it?
just like, Coach Thompson and Gary Williams. One thing that ProView has afforded me that's been so awesome is when you had Arnold Red Auerbach and you're sitting out talking to Red about his philosophy, the Bill Russell's philosophy, these winners, these champions in lives, Gail Sayers, when you're able to understand what these guys credit their success to, when I listen to Dusty Baker here now, see, old school,
Right. A
it's
different
going
world.
to teach these youngins to pay attention because they'll never be around long enough
That's
as
true.
these guys because they'll flame out. So I'm hoping they pay attention to the people that are making things happen in this town because our town's evolving. Nats are kicking tail, Capitals, Wizards. I mean, we're about to hit an area where I think we've been rare air, where everybody's got a chance to win.
Boy, isn't that amazing? In our
Yeah.
town, isn't that great for our town?
Yeah,
And
it's
we want
awesome.
them all. Maybe the soccer team will come alive, too, with the stadium. That
Well,
happens.
DC United was really one of the first champions.
That's correct.
We had. They won.
I remember that.
When people didn't know how to spell winning.
Well, we've also got something called team tennis, and those kids
That's-
play.
oh, my God.
And they win. They won like
Incredible.
6 championships.
They're incredible.
Mark Hine has done a great job.
Yeah.
Now he's bought the whole shooting match, He got the whole team tennis. He's going to
Love
run
his
it all.
passion. Love
He's a
his
smart
passion.
guy.
Yeah.
But, Doc, this has been so special. Really appreciate your participation. You mean so much to us, particularly to Janice and to me as friends, not about broadcast or podcast. We love you for what you are. You are a legend, Doc Walker, and we appreciate that.
That's funny.
Thank you again, Doc Walker. This is Our Town, Andy
Thank you.
Ockershouse,
Thank you, Janice.
Rick Doc Walker.
You've been listening to Our Town, Season 2, presented by Geico, our hometown favorite, with your host, Andy Ockershausen. New Our Town episodes are released each Tuesday and Thursday. Drop us a line with your comments or suggestions. See us on Facebook or visit our website at ourtowndc.com. Our special thanks to Ken Hunter, our technical director, and